Welcome back to the Out of the Rough podcast presented by We Know Fantasy. As always, my name is Nate with We Know Fantasy, and joining me, as always, is my co-host Jake. Jake, how are we doing today?
We're doing good. We're doing good. I mean, absolutely crazy Sunday. Aaron Rye gets the job done. You tipped him, so good on you for that. Gracerman, oh my God, if you held a Gracerman ticket, I feel so bad for you because I saw a tweet that was like he was minus 3,000 odds, and after he quadruple bogeyed that hole, he went to plus 115. This sport betting is not for the light of heart or for the light of stomach or whatever the saying is. Like it is tough sometimes because you think you have it in the bag, and all of a sudden, in literally one hole, this was a prime example this week, it all goes. And look, Aaron Rye, he's a super hard worker. I saw a lot of golfers that I follow, like Sahith Tagala and Will Zalatoris, they posted for Aaron Rye. They don't do this every week. They said, congrats to one of the hardest workers on tour. So it seems like it was very well deserved. I believe this was his first PGA Tour victory, but he played, well enough to get the job done. And even though Matt Kuchar tried to steal his thunder, he still was able to celebrate on Sunday when the tournament was supposed to end.
Yeah, I mean, for one, kudos to the club, the course, and the maintenance staff for being able to do what they did. Complete washout Thursday, delayed start Friday, essentially. There was another inch of rain in there. It was like 6 inches of rain total this golf course undertook. Played some guys played 40 holes of golf on Sunday to get this thing done. And of course, Matt Kuchar tried to, make it about himself, I guess, whatever. We won't go into that here in this podcast. But yeah, Aaron Rye gets it done 40 to 1 is where I tipped him at. Yeah, it's been a long time coming for Aaron Rye. And, he was a guy that recently I've been talking and very vocal against his inability to win on the PGA Tour. And when I ran the numbers this week, something just pointed towards that this could be the week. And outside of a massive, historic collapse by Max Gracerman, who of course had a four-stroke lead, one hole took it away, a snowman there, an eight. To really give it all away, and then even from there, we've seen some massive collapses. I mean, just think John Rahm back at the Olympics, not 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, four-stroke lead on the back nine. We've seen DP World Tour. Sebastian Soderberg had a nine-stroke lead at one point with like 16 holes ago, and he blew that lead. Like we've seen some massive leads blow this season, and you're right. Like you think you have the money in your bank account, you start, how am I going to spend this money? What am I going to do with my earnings this week? And then, you go into the kitchen to make a sandwich, or you step outside to let the dog out, and you come back, and it's your guy's down one or two strokes and completely out of it. It's absolutely insane, and that's part of it. But man, I've been on the wrong end of so many collapses this season. I've had I think it was eight multi-hole. This is on the PGA Tour alone. Eight multi-hole or eight 54-hole multi-shot leaders not going to win. And then finally got some luck here. Aaron Ryan, the right side of things, getting it done there for us. So hoping for back-to-back winners for the first time this season on my end. The DP World Tour, of course, is back this week as well. Some other, there's a lot of golf going on. If you follow golf extensively, Live Tour, LPGA, even the seniors, the Corn Ferry, all of that. Just a lot of golf going on, and it's a fun time of the year, right? We have the PGA Tour or the FedEx Cup playoffs right upon us here. We're going to talk about that this week. DP World Tour is winding down towards their closing swing, or the back nine, as you want to call it. And yeah, just a lot of great golf to be played. But before we do hop into this week's content, Jake, where can we find you on social media?
Yep, you can find me at DJ Friedman on Twitter. I'll post my article there weekly. Also, you could find that on the We Know Fantasy website. Also, be sure to join our Discord. Link will be in my article, and also Nate will share that as well. You could just DM us directly. Completely free to join. Be as active or as not active as you'd like. There's a lot of information that goes into, outright prep, DFS prep, just golf content in the sense of just watching it and enjoying the sport. So even if you're betting, if you're not betting, it's a great place to join for golf information, completely free to join again. So be sure to do that.
Yeah, guys, hop in there completely free. And it's just a great another tool to have if you're in the golf betting community or a fan of golf altogether. Just completely free, fun place to be, and a lot of knowledgeable guys in there. Some big tickets we've seen recently hit there, and I've been posting my exclusive like LPGA cards there, outside of majors, of course. My live tour. I mean, you hit a Corn Ferry guy
Yep.
exclusive on the Discord. I hit a Lauren Coughlin at the Portland Classic or the Canadian Open 3 weeks back, 4 weeks back, exclusive to the Discord. I've had, outside of Lauren Coughlin, then I went back to back runner ups on the LPGA, so I'm knocking the door there. So again, send it to join there, guys. Free. What's the catch? There is no catch. Just hop in there, join us, and talk some golf. But follow myself, Nate, on Twitter at WKF Nate. Be sure to follow We Know Fantasy on all forms of social media at We Know Fantasy. Be sure to visit WeKnowFantasy.com for some more fantasy sports content for baseball, basketball, football, NASCAR, golf, everything between. We have you covered. A lot of great things coming up that way. Fantasy football right around the corner. The We Know Fantasy podcast. Myself and Cody will be back at some point in preseason, and then again weekly during the NFL season. Fantasy football content, waiver wire, streamable defense of the week, waiver wire wish list, all that stuff will be coming back towards you guys here shortly. And of course, if you're interested, I'm bringing back the We Know Fantasy Survivor uh, football league. It's not just like a Survivor pick'ems. It's literally a fantasy football league replicated after the popular television TV show Survivor, where a guy or a team is voted out each week. There's tribes, challenges. It's a lot of fun. Something unique I developed last year and hoping to bring it back this year better, bigger, and better than ever. But
Yeah, I can attest to that. I was actually in that league, and that's how I got to know you, Nate. So super, super fun. Nate's got some really creative ideas. So if you watch the show or just are looking for a new, unique fantasy football format, be sure to hit him up. It was a ton of fun.
there we go. And I have openings there. So hit me up on Twitter at WKFNate. On the same website, WeKnowFantasy.com. Out of the Rough Golf Betting Article Series, LPGA, Majors, DP World Tour, and PGA Tour each and every week. I don't know why I mix it up in the complete wrong order. But there you go, guys. You can find that there as well on the We Know Fantasy Podcast Network, wherever you listen to your podcast, the We Know Fantasy Podcast Network. Man, I said that about 6 times as well. What is going on? Fantasy, We Know Fantasy NASCAR Podcast. Jeez, I finally got it out. Cody and Devin each every week talking NASCAR there as well. So check that out. Cody, enough of the introduction stuff and enough of me rambling and saying the same thing 6 different times. Let's move forward. I think I just called you Cody as well. I don't know what's going on with me. Jake, here we
Yep.
go. The PGA Tour end of the season, FedEx Cup standing or playoffs are among us here. We have the FedEx St. Jude Championship, of course, TPC Southwind down there in Memphis, Tennessee. Um, it's not an exciting course, right? It's pretty ho hum. Every
Yep.
every TPC course is kind of the same thing, just a cookie cutter repeat birdie fest type of deal, and that's what we're gonna get this week. But again, start of the FedEx Cup playoffs here. The top 70 of the FedEx Cup standings advanced to this point. From here, top 50 to the BMW Invitational, of course, top 30 to the PGA Tour Championship at East Lake, Atlanta, Georgia, to finish off the season. A lot to play for, right? If you win this week, that's 2,000 FedEx Cup points. You can rise from 70th into basically the PGA Championship, end of the season championship as well. If you are to win this week, so a lot of massive implications. Not only the top 70 here, they have I think no, it's top 50, right? Receive the full inclusion in the designated events next year, so they have that to
Yep.
play forward to get to the top 50 next week. So there's a lot to play for here outside of just winning for a chance to win at the end of the season. Yeah, this is establishes the Memphis Open in 1958 before becoming the St. Jude Invitational in 1970. 2018, it became the World Golf Championship event, elevating its status. Of course, the WGC is no more. And in 2022, this event replaced the Northern Trust as the kickoff of the FedEx Cup playoffs. And here we are, the field this week, top 70 golfers within the season-long FedEx Cup standings. Seamus Power, Nick Dunlap, Jonathan Vegas, Emiliano Grillo, and Victor Perez are the first 5 golfers into this top 70. So that leaves the likes of Davis Riley, Andrew Putnam, Kurt Kitayama, Luke List, and Adam Svensson on the outside looking in, who have wrapped up their seasons already. Of course, can't not talk about it. The first FedEx Cup playoff ever since 2007 without Matt Kuchar, and deservingly so after what he pulled last week. So yeah, no Matt Kuchar this week. Of course, headliners: Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, Rory McIlroy. You got the gist at this point. Nothing more to talk about there. Lucas Glover, defending champion, of course, did not crack the top 70 this season, so he will not be in this event. And of course, I mean, he used the Wyndham Championship to win and get himself into the top 70 last year, and then goes on to win this event, gets himself all the way to the PGA Championship from like 130th or whatever he was going to the Wyndham Championship. So we'll see if a similar story that could happen this week. Adam Scott 2013, Jason Day 2015, Tony Finau 2021, and your boy Will Zalatoris 2022 are former winners of this event. That includes WGC, FedEx St. Jude, or St. Jude Classics along the way. And we've already talked about the top 50 golfers advancing next with the BMW Championship. as things sit, Adam Scott, Max Gracerman, Mackenzie Hughes, Will Zalatoris, and Jake Knapp are the first five names in the top 50. Harris English, Nick Taylor, Patrick Rogers, Eric Cole, and Justin Rose are the first five guys out. We do have some big names still fighting for future golf. We have defending PGA Tour champion Victor Hovland sitting at 57. So he needs a big week this week to crack the top 50. Who would have thought, man? We were talking about superstardom last year if he chased down Scotty Scheffler in the back nine.
Multi-majors.
Yeah, we were talking this is the next big guy. And here we are, man, 57th. And of course, Jordan Spieth, 63rd as well, fighting for his life this week. I mean, sitting at 63rd, you're likely going to need a victory to get yourself in the top 50 nonetheless. So TPC Southwind, we talked about it, just characteristics of a typical Southern Bermuda course that is accessible to high winds. That's basically it. Designed by Ron Pritchard in consultation with Fuzzy Zoller, Hubert Green, and opened in 1988. It is a course that has a lot of trees. It may excuse me. In 2004, 125 trees were planted and 15 new bunkers were installed to bring the total to 96. Additionally, the par 5 fifth hole was converted to a par 4, which could reduce the par from 71 to 70. In an attempt, to modernize the game, 200 yards were added. The fairways were recon toward all of this stuff. So this new course is now a par 70, measuring 7,244 yards. I say new course, it's been 20 years now. Fairways are undulating and waters in play on 10 holes this week. This track also features 9 holes that include dog legs. It is a positional golf course. It is not a bomber's paradise. Um, it's a birdie fest. We've talked about that already. Just getting the ball where it needs to be, being in the fairway and attacking the greens that way. The course really shows its teeth from outside of the fairways. TPC Southwind ranks top 6 in penalty from missed fairways and approach difficulty from the rough. Last season also features top 10 most narrow fairways on the tour. So that added emphasis to driving accuracy off the tee this week. The greens roll firm and fast. There will be emphasis on scrambling this week due to this. Accuracy isn't the end all here. We've seen some bombers have success. We've seen some guys not fit your typical mold, as we do every week. There's not a true, 100% key to winning at any of these golf courses. Guys can attack in different ways. These fast Bermuda greens, about 12 in the stint meter. They do roll firm, fast, and true, and traditionally actually serve as some of the easiest greens in terms of putting difficulty on the entire PGA Tour. So anyone really here can grab a hot flat stick and have some success this week, depending who is hot and who isn't. So, yeah, that's basically for TBC Southwind. Weather looks halfway decent this week, opposed to what we saw last week with what was a Hurricane Debbie, I think, rolling through the area and absolutely wreaking havoc. But yeah, that's it for my breakdown here. Jake, you want to add anything?
No, I think you covered it really well. It's not the most exciting course, but it is a lot of drama between the players to get
Yeah.
that positioning. So that kind of makes up for the lack of uniqueness in the course, in my opinion.
Yeah, that is a great point. I mean, just because of where it sits in the schedule. And I don't know about you, Jake. I would like to see these last 3 events of the season, this playoff, like rotate, like
Yeah.
not be, especially maybe the first two, maybe not so much, but at least the final event. Like it kind of sucks for some of these guys that if you don't suit, East Lake to a T, you really don't have a chance to win a PGA Tour championship and the added money that comes along with it. But I'm not in charge of the PGA Tour, so there is that. But Jake, let's move on to our DFS plays for the week. Each week we offer our favorite golfer in 5 monetary categories according to DraftKings pricing. We have our $10,000 plus, our 9,000 to 9,900, 8,000, 7,000, and 6,900 and below. Jake, we have what, 5 guys, 4 guys, whatever it is here. 5 guys. I would like some 5 guys right now, man. I am pretty hungry, but yes, we have about 4 or 5 guys in the top $10,000 plus price range. So, which one is your favorite here, Jake?
Yeah, so I'm going with Xander here at 11-4. I think everyone's going to go to Scotty after what they saw here. At the Olympics, he came all the way back, shot a course record 62 to take it down. And that's quite frankly what you can get with Scotty Scheffler, right? He's going to pour in a ton of birdies. You know what you're going to get from him. But for $1,000 cheaper, I'm going to go with the second best player on tour and try to use some of that budget and ownership percentage savings to go a little bit, higher on the lower end, if that makes any sense. So I think for $1,000 less, Xander is a steal here. On the season, he ranks 11th off the tee, 5th on approach, 34th around the greens, 9th in putting, and 2nd in strokes gained total. So, I mean, up until the Olympics, we were talking about Xander and Schauffele being on the same level. And now, Scotty took that step at the Olympics. I think a lot of people are going to go to him and default to him. His his FedEx Cup his FedEx St. Jude Championship. We are stumbling over our words today. History has not been so great. I mean, he has a T6 in 2020 and a T24 last year, but I'd argue that Xander is having one of his best seasons in his career. So I'm willing to go to him at 11-4 over Scotty at 12-4.
Yeah, you know my love for Xander Schauffele, and I'm not going to argue with you there. I wrote up Scotty Scheffler simply because I thought 12-2 was a steal in itself. Like Scotty Scheffler should be 13-5, 13-4, somewhere in that price range, typically. But again, we're in a 70-man field with the 70 best golfers in the world at this point, right? Uh, yeah, I don't think I need to talk about Scotty Scheffler, what he's done this season. 6 victories, just won the Olympics. That makes it 7 if you want to count that. Just countless leading in categories, left and right, tee to green, approach, you name it. He's pretty much leading in this statistical category. Outside of course, putting where he can be absolutely atrocious, but it's so insane that he can be as bad putting as he can and still win 6 events in the season, still be the number one golfer in the world by a large margin now over Xander Schauffele. Absolutely insane. I mean, we've seen some events where he's putted to even or slightly plus, and you know we've also seen events where he's -5, not -6 on the greens, and still winning golf tournaments pretty handily. So it's a pretty scary situation if you're trying to go up against Scotty Scheffler. So I'm not going to bore you guys. It's the same story every single week. Scotty Scheffler, Scotty Scheffler. There's a reason for it, but again, I think the price is right here at 12-2 because that's a very big steal for Scotty Scheffler, in my opinion. But again, with that value is going to come an increased ownership, and at 12-2, every one of the brothers is going to be on Scotty Scheffler. So if you are one to believe that you have to have Scotty Scheffler in your lineup, I'm not going to argue with you. If you're one who wants to try to deviate away, find some differences in ownerships, go for it. But yeah, I wrote Scotty Scheffler and we wrote Xander Schauffele. So pretty chalk to start our discussion here this week, Jake. But I mean, it's going to happen, right? But I'll
Yep.
move on to the 9K price range. I'll kick it off here with Corey Connors at 9-1, a great value in my opinion. Again, this is a guy who is in some great form. He placed T9th at the Olympics not last week, 2 weeks ago. Prior to that, T25 US or T25 at the Open, T10 Genesis Scottish Open, T27 Travelers, T9 US Open, T20 Memorial, 6th RBC Canadian Open. He has 11 top 25s on the season and 20 events he's played, so over half of them he's top 25. Fourth on tour approach, 6th in both ball striking and proximate hole from 150 to 175, 8th in tee to green, 12th in regulations, 26th part of 4. So where does it really fall apart for him? It's on the greens as well. It's 148th in strokes gained putting Bermuda. Biggest downfall for sure, but man, one of his latest outings at the Genesis Scottish Open, he putted to gain 4.009 strokes on the green. So that's pretty positive for Corey Connors, who struggles mightily with the putter, just like Scotty Scheffler. But everything else isn't Scotty Scheffler-esque for Corey Connors. So take a look back at his course history here as well, or event history, I guess, for Corey Connors. T6 a season ago, T20 in 2022, T8 in 2021, T25 2020, T21 in 2019. Great course history, matches up well. Again, a course that's super easy to putt on. So if you are a poor putter and you can find the strokes and finally getting the ball to roll in your favor, it can go a long way. But in the same sense, if you're an elite putter and these, greens are super easy, you can really excel yourself as well. So it plays to both ends of the spectrum here. But man, Corey Connors 9-1, great value in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's the same pointer I wrote up here, and I'm just going to reiterate some points because I love this play so much. I mean, he has not lost strokes on approach all season. In every single start in the 2024 season, he has not lost on strokes on
Absolutely
approach, which is
insanity.
incredible. Around the greens, which he ranks 93rd on the season, he's gained in 6 of his last 7. With the putter, he's gained in 4 of his last 7, which we said he was 129th in putting. One of those being minus 0.01 strokes at the Olympics. So I'm willing to even throw that one out. Corey Connors is playing some incredible golf, and he's getting to that point where the win is on the cusp. And I'm happy to join you there. I really think that this is a week that Corey Connors can get it done. The approach play is there, the off the tee is there. And the short game, even though the season stats might be a little deceptive, it's really coming together over the last couple weeks for Connors. So I love the DFS play here.
Yeah, 9-1 and 45, 40-ish on the outright market. When I placed it
Yeah.
earlier today, I bet it's been drummed down at this point. But absolutely love all of Corey Connors this week. Jumping all over him was one of my first clicks this morning when things loaded. But that's that. So still pretty boring for listeners here, Jake. Let's see if we find some difference here at the 8K price range. Who we playing here?
Yeah, I'm going with the guy who burned everyone last week at the Wyndham. It's going to be Sung Jae Im at 8,700. Everyone was saying, this is the week that Sung Jae's finally going to get it done here. And it really showed up until that point. He had a littering of top five, top 10 finishes leading into last week at a course that profiled super well for him. And he just laid an absolute dud. He finished T41 as the odds on favorite. So let a lot of people down. I'm hoping that skews some ownership off of him and some eyes off of him because, again, my favorite thing to do, as we all know, is to throw out one crappy week and the bunch of really good starts to go around it. So before that, a T7 at the Open, a T4 at the Genesis, a T12 at the John Deere, T3 at the Travelers, and a lot more good finishes before that. His tournament history here, also great. T6 last year, 12th place in 2022, T46 in 2021, and a T35 in 2020. On the season, he ranks 25th off the tee, 103rd on approach, which is kind of crazy because you think of Sung Jae as a great iron
Yeah.
player. 28th around the green, 70th in putting, and 27th in strokes gained total. I mean, the numbers on the season again aren't so great, but he's gained around the green in 4 of his last 5. He's gained with the flat stick in 5 of his last 5. On approach in 5 of his last 6, and off the tee, he's gained in his last like 15 starts or something. So all around a great play here, playing some great golf, and I think he has a really good chance to get it done this week too.
Yeah, so I didn't write out for DFS, but he's on my outright card. So in that is one of my favorite things to say is that the golf betting community has such short-term memory. They remember what happened a week ago, opposed to an extensive length of form. I mean, there are of course a lot of people who put a lot of work into this, a lot of knowledge beyond that. But a lot of these guys, short-term memories, will realize last week that everyone and their brother was on Sunday M, and he went T41, an event that he, on paper should have went on and won. Odds on favorite to do so. But man, stats wise, he measures up great. Really good form if you throw out last week. Even last week, he still made the cut. So it wasn't like he, came out and shot plus 12 in the first 2 days and, packed it up.
Right.
Um, Recent form here, T6 in 2023, 12th in 2022, T16 in 2021. So plays this course very well. This is a course that suits Sanjay Im's game. You mentioned it. His approach numbers aren't where they're supposed to be, and what do we think of Sanjay Im as a pure iron striker and approach god, and he the rest of his game's elegant this week or this season. He's been in some insane form. Absolutely love the play, and again, he's on my outright card. But my play here, I'm going back to the steady-handed Aaron Ryer, 8,200, who won last week. Finally got it done. We've known him to become more of a choke artist, a guy who can't finish on Sundays. And thanks to Max Grayson, he was able to get it done. But nonetheless, he is a winner of the PGA Tour, and you can't take that away from Aaron Rye, no matter how it happened. It happened. But Aaron Rye, man, second on tour in driving accuracy. He is fourth in green regulations. He's fifth in bogey avoidance, sixth in both approach and par 4 average scoring, seventh in tee to green, 11th in ball striking, 20th scrambling, 34th off the tee. The list goes on and on and on. Again, the putting is what used to hold him down. However, he's gained 2.56 at the last week of the Wyndham, 5.703 at the Genesis, Scottish, excuse me, 0.918 or 8.918, excuse me, led the field at the John Deere Classic, 4.798 at the Rocket Mortgage Classic, 2.828 at the US Open. I mean, he's been gaining strokes putting for a very long time and doing so, man. John Deere Classic, nearly 9 strokes gained on the greens. And if you've watched, Aaron Rye putt, it's not pretty. He doesn't have a very good putting form. Things are working. Switch putting coaches, got that victory, and everything's going to fall in favor when he's doing things like this. He's a top 10 approach player, top 10, tee to green player, a top 30 off the tee player. And if you're going to have a putter like this, it's a combination for success. There's no way around that. And the form recently, of course, win at the Wyndham Championship, T4 Genesis Scottish Open, T7 John Deere Classic, T2 Rocket Mortgage Classic, T19 US Open, T14 RBC Canadian Open. Things are going to start falling in favor for Aaron right now. He got that first victory. He got his taste. He popped the cap off that. A lot of guys, it takes a while to get there. Aaron Rye's only been on the tour for what, 2 seasons, realistically, 3 seasons, 2.5, somewhere around there. Still rather young, although he's probably older than Scotty Scheffler is, but everyone forgets he's 28 years old. Uh, but yeah, Aaron Rye, I think is a great play at 8-2. I'm not sure the ownership is going to be like because, again, people have a short term memory. They remember that he won last week. A lot of people don't believe people can do it back to back weeks. They think they win, take the time off, kind of, backdoor type of thing. Aaron Rye, you mentioned it, one of the hardest workers on tour. Not going to take any time off. He's never going to take his foot off the pedal. I think it's a great week to play Aaron Rye, especially 8-2 at this golf course in this field in the current form he's in.
Yeah, definitely. And we've seen it so many times with guys, right? Where they get that first win and then they just bust off two or three in their next five. And it's familiar territory for them now that to get across the finish line, they know what they need to do on Sunday. Rye's in a little bit of a unique situation, but what I love about Rye is that he could pop off with any facet of his game, right? The off the tee distance kind of holds him back in those numbers, but with the irons, he could gain 6, 8 strokes on the tournament. With the putter now, he's proven he could do the same exact thing. So if you're a little scared to go for a back-to-back winner in the outright market, even though we've seen Lucas Glover do this exact thing before, I mean, from a DFS perspective, I mean, he's proven that he could pop off and give you that high ceiling that you need at a more than reasonable price. So I like the Aaron Rye call out a lot.
There we go. And yeah, of all people to win back to back events, it was Lucas Glover a year ago at this point. Wyndham to the FedEx St. Jude Championship. What a time to be alive. Moving on to our 7K price range. I'm going to go here with Davis Thompson, 7,400, a guy I am falling in love with each and every week. Absolutely adore this guy. Not only because I'm, one of the few outright hitters on the PGA Tour I've hit this season, but he's also T12 last week at the Wyndham Championship. He went T2 Rocket Mortgage Classic, T9 US Open, 13th on tour tee to green. He's 15th in both ball striking and par for average scoring, 19th in birdie or better, 36th in bogey wins, 39th approximate hole for 150 175, 46th grid regulation, 45th sand saves, 48th approach. Man, he checks all these boxes. I took into account 13 statistical categories this week. He's above average in all 13 of them. Very well-rounded golfer who is very good in a lot of things that you need for not only success on this golf course, but the PGA Tour in general. I think this kid has not superstar, but I think he has star potential. I think this is a guy who's going to win many times on the PGA Tour, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking Davis Thompson, major champion in say 5-6 years from now. He has the tools. Former, top amateur in the world. He's been there, done that, got his maiden victory at the John Deere Classic,
Yep.
and he's been close since. Like it's not like he's been one. I mean, he had the little hip cup when he went overseas, but again, first time leaving the States and playing competitive golf. It's going to happen, right? But he comes back, doesn't really miss a beat the Wyndham T12. That final day, the Wyndham was just up in the air. Who plays 40 holes, 36 holes at least 36 holes in a professional golf tournament? It doesn't happen. It's unique territory to everyone. So we can even throw that out, but still T12 there in that marathon of a Sunday. Absolutely, Davis Thompson, 7,400 in this field is an absolute steal. And again, 80-1 on the outright market. Had to smash at it myself as well. Corey Connors, Davis Thompson, my first two clicks this morning because of those value they're offering. So, yes, give me Davis Thompson every day of the week this week.
Yeah, I mean, looking at his stats, I think you convinced me to add him to my outright card just because, I mean, the numbers are incredible. I, I don't even, I'm scared to even bring this up, but like, it's almost Abergast where he's long and accurate off the tee. The irons are rock solid, and he's got a solid short game, like, especially as of recent. So, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to say he's on the same level as Aberg, but he's playing some incredible golf that's reminiscent of Aberg's style of play. I mean, off the tees incredible. He lost the irons a little bit overseas, which we talked about. It was his first time playing competitive golf overseas. He lost 0.06 strokes at the Wyndham last week. That's getting more in the right direction. He's been gaining with those irons rather consistently on the tour. So maybe he's just trying to work out some kinks that he got into a bad rhythm overseas that he's working out now. I like the way it's trending. The short game is there. He could pop with both around the green and with the flat stick. I think he's a great play here. I think the ownership is going to be a little scary just because of how well he's played recently with some guys like Max Homa around him. Homa has the name value, but he's been playing some crap golf. So I'm kind of interested to see how it'll shake out at the end. But going to my play here, this is a very much calling my shot play here. I'm going with Pendrith at 71. low end of the 7K range, if you're playing Scotty, if you're playing Xander, I think that Pendrith is a pretty good call out here, in my opinion. He's gone, he's in some great form, honestly. A fifth at the 3M, a top five at the Barracuda. He won the CJ Cup Byron Nelson not too long ago. He has a really interesting game where he bombs the ball and also can putt really well. The irons have been rather solid too. On the season, he ranks 78th off the tee, 98th on approach, 71st around the greens, 10th in putting, and 24th in strokes gained total. But what I've seen recently is off the tee, he's gained in his last six. On approach, he's gained also in his last six, which is pretty significant because he ranks 98th on the season. So he's getting his irons into form. With the putter, he's gained in like seven of his last eight. So everything is there for Pendrith. It just needs to kind of align at this price. That's kind of all I'm asking for. You know, you're going to get a solid putter here and some distance off the tee. The irons seem to be going in the right direction. So it's very much a call my shot here, but I like Pendrith.
Yeah, I never have any idea what to do with Taylor Pendrith, right? You're right. He offers a lot of great things in that rare combination of, elite distance with a very good putter that doesn't happen much, but it's just so hit or miss. You don't know what you're getting each and every week. But again, 7,100, you have to take these chances. You got to hope, especially in a field like this with just 70 golfers trying to find a difference where you can. So you got to take a gamble on someone like Taylor Pendrith, who, doesn't have the biggest name value. 7,100 people are going to be opting out of this price range. Take a chance where you can on someone who can win on the PGA Tour. He's won multiple times in the PGA Tour. Take a stab at it. Hopefully, everything goes together this week, and he gets it done for you. Yeah, I do like to play a lot there, Jake. But one more price range this week, 6,900 and below. Jake, who are we playing here?
Yeah, I'm going to give people an option if they're in a jam here. I'm going with Seamus Power at 6,100. Pretty much rock bottom of the range here. He's been playing some he's a very well-rounded golfer, right? He's 101st off the tee, 63rd on approach, 89th around the greens, 117th in putting, and 97th in strokes gained total. So he's right around average to slightly below average in the facets for the 2024 season. Over the long term, he's like pretty much dead average in everything except for driving accuracy slightly above, and same with approach slightly above. He's made the cut in five of his last five tournaments. He's gained in a lot of different areas. The putter he's gained in four of his last five, around the green in three of his last five, on approach three of his last five, off the tee in all five of those. So offers some very well-rounded golf. I'm not advocating that he has a chance to win, in my opinion, but in those last five starts, he has a T20 at the Travelers and a 17th at the John Deere. So, I mean, a T28 last week at the Wyndham too. I think he's a solid option at $6,100 at the rock bottom here.
Yeah, I mean, and no one loves a birdie fest more than Cena's power, right? That if the word birdie fest was mentioned in at least the last year, Cena's power's name would be on everyone's betting card along the way. But man, it's hard to find someone with value in this field. 6,100 offers a lot of variables along the way, so I do love that play. So I'm gonna go smack down the middle here. I'm going with the 3M Open champion, Jonathan Vegas, 6,500, and his stats makeup is also super interesting. He's first on tour that's first on tour in ball striking. No one better than Vegas in ball striking, right? He's second to green in regulation, eighth and off the tee, 14th tee to green, 15th in approach, and birdie bar percentage, 18th in bogey of one, 24th approximate for 150 175. The downfall, of course, 143rd in putting on Bermuda, 158th in scrambling, and 169th in sand safe percentages. So the around the green is pretty poor for Vegas. The putting typically really, really poor. But what are you getting? You're getting elite off the tee. You're getting elite tee to the green. You're getting a guy who's going to give himself plenty and plenty and plenty of birdie opportunities, being elite in green regulation, elite on approach. It's just a matter of the putts are going to fall, which 3M Open they did. So it just shows if putts begin to fall, he can make his way up leaderboards. And again, 6,500. Looking for a guy just to get you a top 20, top 25. And as Vegas has shown recently, he can do that for sure. Even outside of that, Victor, the 3M Open, T20 John Deere, T25 Rocket Mortgage, T27 RPC Canadian Open. 6,500, you get a guy top 25, top 20 here. Goes a long way. Missed the cut here in his last two outings, but prior to that, T3 in 2017 here at this event, T15 in 2018, T38 in 2019. So decent course history as well. Also set 68th in the FedEx Cup playoffs standing, so he needs a win this week essentially to get himself into next week's BMW Invitational. So some added incentive there for something like Vegas.
Yeah, I like this call out. What I think is interesting, I mean, the off the tee and the approach are rather consistent. He's only gained with the flat stick twice this season, both times over a stroke per round. So that means over 4 strokes for the tournament. So if you see Vegas trending early for an outright perspective with the flat stick, it could be a really interesting live line. That being said, from a DFS perspective, you hit the nail on the head. He's going to give himself a lot of chances. It'll all come down to the flat stick. And in the 6K range, you're not going to get the complete package. So with Vegas, you're getting good off the tee and good approach. You're just taking your chances with the putter. So I like the call out.
There we go again. Have to take some chances in a short field like this, 70 golfers, to hit some home runs. All right, Jake, on to our betting card. Each week we have three categories to talk about. We have our personal favorite, self-explanatory of one bet to make this week. Who would it be and why? We have our, no, excuse me, I said our, what did I say? Personal favorite, overall favorite. Man, I'm messing this up today. Personal favorite is maybe someone with great value, someone around the community is out on. Just a favorite play is nonetheless. I'm messing this up. We have favorite play. Oh Jesus! Overall favorite play, simple. One bet to place. Personal favorite, favorite value essentially, and then the last one's a long shot, self-explanatory. Longest odds we're on. Jake, you have one bet to make this week. Who is it and why?
Yeah, I don't know if I love this, but it's Patrick Cantlay. I got him at 27-1. He has really, really good course history. Finished second here. He has a T23 and a T12 also. I think that also could qualify as someone the community's out on, but I also think that a lot of people are silently betting him. His numbers been hammered down. The approach numbers have been incredible over his last five. The putter we know could get super hot for Cantlay. It'll come down to the off the tee, in my opinion, but I'm willing to take my chances here for a guy who finished runner-up last year, who hasn't had the most spectacular season. So I'm going there.
Yeah, a massive disappointment for Patrick Cantley this season, and even last year didn't find the winner's circle. It's been a long time, and but when Cantley is on, he is one of those top 10, flirts with the top five best golfers in the world. It's been a long time since we've seen a prime Cantlay because it's, when he is on, it's still some of the most boring golf you'll watch in your entire life, even though it's spectacular. He's just a boring man, and sometimes you just hate watching him do anything. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, he still has it. It's going to all come together at one point. Maybe it's next season, but again, it could be very well be this week. I can definitely see that happening. But I mean, I'm going pretty bored myself. Colin Morikawa, 14-1. It's pretty improbable that Morikawa hasn't won this season. Thinking back in his last, I think it's 8 events, he's placed top 16 or better in his last 8 events. Yes, excuse me. He's also placed top 23 or better in each of his last 11 events dating back to the Masters. So since April, his worst finish has been T23. T4th Jersey Scottish Open, second the Memorial Tournament, fourth Charles Schwab, T4 PGA Championship, ninth RPC Heritage, T3 the Masters along the way there. You're getting he's super accurate. He's fourth on tour in driving accuracy, sixth in par for average scoring, ninth in tee to green, 15th in strokes game off the tee and scrabbling, 24th birdie or better, 34th approximate hole from 150 to 175, 41st approach. Everything checks in the box, right? The putter, it's the putter for Morikawa. But again, Morikawa doesn't just miss putting by a lot. He's not blowing the ball past the hole and giving himself a 5-footer back up a hill to scramble for par essentially. He's barely missing these putts. It's like rimming out or it's stopping, a roll short or a roll to the right. So it's only a matter of time for that to straighten itself out and find the bottom of the cup. If it happens this week, he can very well run away with any golf tournament he sets foot on if the putter cooperates for him. It's been a while since we've seen it for Colin Morikawa, but it could definitely happen. Like him this week, some great value at 14-1 in my opinion. So that's where I'm going with my overall or my favorite bet of this week. All right. On to our personal favorite bet this week. I'll kick this one off here. I've talked about Corey Connors already at 40-1. That's probably where I'd go with this. I I'm going to go with Davis Thompson, 80-1. I just think the value is there. The stats are there. The form is there. We've talked about him already. Just a great, great value at 80-1, man. He could be 60-1. I would still play him this week. Just everything lines up for Davis Thompson. Has that win in the season. He's been there, done that, knows how to get it done. Still super young, has star potential. Now's the time to put the hammer to the or the pedal to the metal, I guess you'd say, and just take out some of the big dogs. Win an event where everyone's in attendance and really put yourself, put the tour on notice that Davis Thompson's here to stay.
Yeah, I mean, I love that call out. But for me, my favorite would have been Sung J M. We already talked about him. So I'm going to go back to the well here. I'm going to go with Sahith Theegala. He has not been playing some of his best golf. This should come to no surprise that I'm bringing him up, but he's kind of lost the irons, which is crazy because he's pretty well known as a solid iron player. He's lost in his last three starts there, but he has some incredible course history. He's finished T13 in 2022 and 2023. When the lights are on, Tagala tends to shine really bright, whether that be get across the finish line or have a really, really competitive week. That's up for discussion. I'm hoping that he can get across the line and get back into some form here. But even though he's lost the irons over the last three, he finished T6 at the 3M and T4 at the Genesis Scottish over that stretch of time. So the rest of the game seems to be there for Tagala. He has the course history. The lights are going to be shining bright. I think this is a really good opportunity to not just put himself on the map even more than he already is, but to gain some more respect in winning a bigger tournament here.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Sahith Gala is a showman. He shows out when it's time to do so. Yeah, I'm ready for Thagala to finally break through and win. I think it'd be great for the game of golf if someone like Sahith got it done. I mean, the raw emotion that would bring out with him and his father and everything along the way would be absolutely fantastic to watch. So I'm here for it. And again, he has some good course history here, although it's a short history. He of course going to match up well to this golf tournament. Nonetheless, if he can find those irons again, a competent putter each and every week, no matter what event or what greens you throw at him. So absolutely love to play there. This week was a guy I took a short look at before I moved on elsewhere. But yeah, see if the guy's a good call this week, Jake. One more for us. Our overall favorite, excuse me, jeez, our long shot for the week. Longest odds you're on, Jake, this week and why?
Yeah, so right now I haven't put the bet in, but I am going to. I'm seeing Pendrith at 125 to 1. I already covered it with him. He does a lot of things good, super long off the tee, solid with the irons as of recent, and could really put the lights out if he needs to. Already has a win on the PGA Tour this season. 125 to 1 for a PGA Tour winner in the season that Scotty Scheffler has taken down almost every tournament he's teed it up in. I'm willing to take my chances there.
Yeah, we talked about him already, but I'm gonna roll here with the last guy in the field, number 70 himself, Victor Perez, 175 to 1. That's where I have him at. Just a good story recently was, uh just off the podium at the Olympics, fourth place in his home country, had the fans behind him. Fantastic scenes with his back nine there. Uh, at Le Golf National was, just kind of one of those things that sends chills down your spine, even if you're not a French supporter, just the support they were able to give the countryman and pretty much will him to essentially come out of nowhere, almost get on the podium, would have been absolutely insanity. But on top of that, man, he's been playing some great golf. T33 last week at the Wyndham. He's also, of course, fourth at the Olympic. Talk about that. T10 Genesis Scottish Open, T12 at the Memorial, and third at the RPC Canadian Open. Some good form. 29th on tour in ball striking, 30th bogey avoidance, 32nd green regulation, 45 proximate the hole for 150, 175, 56 tee to green, 60th on searching putting Bermuda, 74th off the tee, 85th driving accuracy. So he's checking those boxes that we want, right? He's good on the approach, ball striking, green regulation, give himself chances, tee to green, top 60 on tour, and that could be a lot worse for someone to play 175 on. And the fact that he has to win, right, to move on next week. There's a second place finish isn't going to move from 70 to 50. I don't care what you say. Needed 2,000 points. Need to get there from first, from 70 to 50. Need the victory. Why not keep going here for Victor Perez? He is one of those, one of the DP World Tour graduates that kind of went on the wayside, like a Matthew Pavon, who kind of came over, wasn't, a prominent winner on the DP World Tour, wasn't like a huge name over there, comes over and win the PGA Tour. So now it's Victor Perez's time. Let's see it happen. Let's see it happen this week with a 175 ticket.
Yeah, what I like the best about him is that he could pop with his irons and with the putter. So if he could do that in the same week, I mean, he could be in for a great finish and even a win. So I like the call out there, especially at 175 to 1, I think you said.
Yes, sir. That's where it was. So, yes, kick off to the FedEx Cup playoffs this week at the FedEx Cup, FedEx St. Jude Championship. Along the way there in the PGA Tour, I've messed up about 35% of all words I've said in this
It's a
podcast.
Monday.
Yeah, it's a Monday. I've stared at my computer for like 10 hours doing golf research between the PGA Tour, DP World Tour, LPGA, Live, all of it. It's just been absolute insanity this week. Plus, it's been payroll at work. It's just my eyes are bloodshot at this point from staring at the computer screen since 6 o'clock this morning. Still going at it here at what just after 9 p.m. So a lot of golf, a lot of content. So um, yeah, we still have another golf tour to talk about, Jake. It's been about a month since we had to do this, but the DP World Tour is finally back again after a darn near month off. Of course, the Open, the Olympics, co-sanctioned U.S.-based events along the way, but we're back here on the European-based tour's heart of the schedule. Penultimate event on the closing swing before the back nine. So this is the last of the 5 international swings on the DP World Tour. 13 events remaining until the DP World Tour Championship in November. Things are heating up here. Yeah, this is of course the D&D Real Czech Masters, the only DP World Tour event held in the Czech Republic, and for the first time since the event's inception since 2014, it will not be played at the Albatross Golf Resort, but instead will be played at the PGA National Oaks, just outside of Prague itself. The field this week, of course, just well, I've come accustomed to see on the DP World Tour. The Tom McKibbins of the world, the Bernd Weisberger, Richard Mansell, Nicholas Norgard, Connor Syme, Matthew Jordan, Rio Stune kind of lead the way here. This week's field has also included 3 major champions. We have Danny Willett, Francisco Molinari, and Jason Duffner himself will be teaming up this week after he received a invitation to compete. 2023 Ryder Cup captain Luke Donald, of course, 2 will be in attendance, and Todd Clements is a defending champion, held off Matt Wallace by a stroke to win a season ago, of course, at the Albatross opposed to the PGA National Oaks this week. The most recent winner of the DP World Tour was Ewan Ferguson. About a month ago, he's back in attendance, looking to go back to back on the DP World Tour technically. Of course, this week, this is a new course. We have not seen this, so take this with a grain of salt. This is my own personal research and videos and stuff I've read on the internet, so could all be completely wrong. The PGA National Oaks will play host for the very first time in the DP World Tour. Par 72 at 7,613 yards was open in 2020. Course was designed by acclaimed golf course architect Kyle Phillips. Phillips also designed Kingsbarns, California Golf, and South Cape in South Korea, which are 3 of the top 100 golf courses in the entire world. PGA National Oaks has been voted Czech Republic's best golf course for the last 4 years by the World Golf Awards. Fairways this week are described to flow across the alluring Czech countryside. The par 4 fourth hole features a fairway within an oak-studded valley with a stream and wetland or area along the left side of this tough uphill hole, which plays as the second hardest hole on the course. The par 5 fifth plays from a ridge towards a green that features a central spine. The par 4 12th plays through a narrow chute of trees, and the par 4 14th features a dog leg right into a green that features a breathtaking view of the nearby Prague city skyline. Again, all of this was just some research I found this morning. I know none of that I just said is actually useful. Maybe the yardage, everything else is a few holes I found some information on. But again, new course on the DP World Tour. It's what we got going. It just it's interesting, right? Because it's 7,600 yards, but with the dog legs, some narrow oaks lined fairways, something's gonna be long and narrow. So now in my opinion, not only do you have to be long with the off the tee this week, you have to be a bit accurate as well. So total driving something I took into consideration this week. But yeah, Jake, anything you want to add here before we move forward?
No, there is not much information out there, so I'm just gonna go with what you said and try to roll it forward.
There we go. So Jake, I got 4 guys on my card this week. I think you said you had the same. So
Yep.
I'm gonna kick it off here, Jake. I'm going Matthew Jordan, 25-1, kind of one of the darlings recently, at the Open Championship with a T10 there. He was just one of 12 golfers to finish par or better at the Open this season. Part of that T26, the co-sanctioned Genesis Scottish Open. Also T12 Oval Car Scandinavian Mix, T13 European Open, and T5 Sudal Open. Currently 10th on tour and tee to green, 11th off the tee, 18th on approach, 31st driving average driving distance, 32nd at par fives, 67th in sand saves, 87th putting. So Matthew Jordan, he's one of the kind of quote unquote premier names of the DP World Tour, playing some really good golf, especially at the Open not too long ago. A win's coming for him. I think 25-1, just some insane value when you have, Brent Weisberger getting like 16-1s, things like that. So again, it was more so value than anything, because of course I would have liked to play Tom McKibben more than Matthew Jordan, but I think the value is just so much more than on Matthew Jordan this week than someone like Tom McKibben.
Yeah, I like the call out. I was really debating the top of the board this week, and after not seeing a lot of these guys for 2, 3, 4 weeks
It's
even,
hard.
I couldn't bring myself to get to anyone under 25 to 1. If it was going to be someone, it was going to be Jordan. So I do like the call out. Playing some great golf. We saw him play well at a major championship, which is no small feat for someone on the DP World Tour. He does have a little bit of struggles getting to the finish line, but like you said, it kind of seems like it's coming for him. So I would not be surprised at all to see it, come to fruition for him this week.
Here we go. Who's your first name then, Jake?
Yep, my first name here is going to be Antoine Rosner at 35 to 1. I just like his ability to pop with some of his stuff. It's not my favorite play ever, but
Yeah.
long off the tee, he can gain over a stroke per round on approach, which is great. The putter and the around the green is generally what holds him back. But the last time we saw him at the Genesis on the PGA Tour, he actually gained with the flat stick. He's gained in 2 of his last 6 with the flat stick, so nothing great. Same with around the green. I'm kind of hoping that he could pop in that facet, but the irons are dialed and the off the tee remains long off the tee. I mean, I'm taking my shot here at 35.
Yeah, he is a frustrating one. He loves to blow leads. He was one of those two guys at the Italian Open who had a hefty lead and they both blew it away. He's played well many a times the last 3 years since I've been on the DP World Tour, where I've had him on cards. He's been leading by 6 strokes after 2 rounds, and then he finishes 6 strokes back. Super frustrating guy, but man, he is very good with the irons. He's going to bring you plus numbers in the approach each and every week, and he's a very good at flat stick as well. So he puts it together and can kind of hold on that final round. It can happen for Julian Brunn. I mean, he's won on the DP World Tour before as well. So just recently, man, last 2 or 3 seasons, just getting across that finish line has been super tough for Brunn. But this nonetheless, I'm going to go with a fellow countryman and Julian Guerrier at 40 to 1. He's a guy I've been on a few times recently, and that's for good reason. He's 15th on tour in par 5 average scoring, 20th in scrambling, 40th tee to green, 49th average driving distance, 52nd off the tee, even 68th in approach. Made the cut the Genesis Scottish Open again for a DP guy in that co-sanction event. I think it's an accomplishment itself. He also placed T13 the BMW International Open, T22nd Italian Open, T20th Volvo Car Scandinavian Mix, and T4 European Open. 40 to 1 here, man. The DP World Tour gets a little muddy once you get off the 20s, 30s and you start entering the 40s. Things kind of get mushed together and things just are so hard to find a difference once you get into that 40 plus range. But yeah, I know you were on him with me the last time we had a DP World Tour event. So I think it was what the BMW International, or whatever it was. So we'll see if
Yep.
we can get it done this week.
Yep, he's also on my card this week, so some overlap there. Just leading into some good golf. We haven't seen a lot of these guys in a long time, so take that with what you will. He's very average in a sense of like he doesn't pop with anything per se. If it's going to be anything, it's really going to be the irons that he can get going. Everything else just teeters around even as of recent, which on the DP World Tour, gets you some top 10, top 20 finishes. So at 45 to 1, I think the number is more than fair to go back to him. We've been on him before, and you might as well just keep riding it out, especially on the DP World Tour. You don't see repeat winners in the season, and you see these guys kind of teeter up to it, and they either fall down hard or they get the win and then they fall off. So I'm kind of hoping that we get that peak with the win here at 45 to 1, and then we can watch him taper off like the rest of them.
You mentioned that he's just average, but sometimes the DP World Tour, just being average and playing a middling game like that, it's the best place to be. As guys start fluctuating around, either going high, falling off hard, things like that. And you're just kind of treading the water slowly, and getting a few birdies here. That could be the key to success of the DP World Tour for sure. So we'll see if he gets it done for us this week. So that's 2 each here. Moving on here, Joe Dean, 60 to 1. Dean has been one of the feel good stories of the DP World Tour this season. He lost in a 3-man playoff at the KLM Open not too long ago. That saw him qualify for the Open. He also placed T25th at the Open as well. So a fantastic top 25 for a guy like Joe Dean at the Open. Absolute insanity. He also placed T49th at the BMW International Open, T29th Italian Open, T5th Sudo Open outside of, again, that T2 at the KLM Open and T2 the Kenyan Open as well this season. He's currently 5th on tour, strokes game putting, so an elite putter there. He's 26th in average driving distance, 27th off the tee, 20th in sand saves, 66th in scrambling, 67th tee to the green, 83rd approach. and 122 in par five average scoring. What I do like about this is he's gaining in he has some good numbers in the off the tee to green, things like that. But when you're an elite putter and everything else around you goes cold, and you are forced to save par with a longer putt, that can go a long way for keeping things, taking a breather for someone like Joe Dean if we're coming down the stretch here on the DP World Tour, who has never been in contention. I mean, he's been in contention, right? But never won before. To have that super strong putter to go off of, I really like that. I think a great value, 60-1 for a guy who recently T25 of the Open, has two runner-ups on the season on the DP World Tour, three top five. So fantastic value here for Joe Dean.
Yeah, definitely someone I thought about this week. I haven't gotten to him yet, but I do like the call out. Like you said, the putter is it can pay big dividends on the DP World Tour. It could save you, it can give you that breather that you need, like you said. But also when you need to pour in some putts, they generally fall. He's also long off the tee, which is what, could be important this week. So in two of his last four starts, he's also gained on approach and not by a small margin, almost a stroke per round in both of those. So if it just pieces together for Dean at 60-1, I mean, I think that's a great number.
For sure. For sure. Who's the next guy here for you, Jake?
Yeah, this is a very much, again, calling my shot here. So if Pendrith does on the PGA Tour, I'm hoping that I can do the same here. It's Valimaki at 45-1. He's been on the PGA Tour all season, and he has been absolute crap.
Yes.
It has been really, really bad. Missing a lot of cuts. He has a T12 at the John Deere, second at the Mexico Open, and that's about all she wrote for the season for Valimaki. But he's a DP World Tour guy, and I'm hoping that going back into European golf can get him back into his feels because he's been playing some really competitive golf against some really, really high talent. And, nothing against the DP World Tour guys, but it's a big step down in talent. So I'm hoping he gets comfortable again on European golf and he can take down this tournament at 45-1. Not too long ago, I mean, in October, he won the Qatar Masters on the DP World Tour. So that was within his last 25 starts. I'd consider that pretty recent. I know it's a different course, but he finished T4 at the Czech Masters last year. So I'm calling my shot here at 45-1 on a guy that seems to have zero form, but coming back to a place that he plays some of his best golf.
Yeah, I absolutely love that call out. A guy no one's going to be on because of the poor performance on the PGA Tour. But again, you mentioned it, a winner not too long ago. You dated back to October, but in the grand scheme of things in golf, that's not super long ago. You said last 25 starts, he's got it done. So yeah, just getting back and then his feet back underneath him, as they say, play some good golf here and move forward and kind of regroup things before we hit the fall swing of the PGA Tour, or we have some work to do for himself there. My final play this week is Yannick Debron, 100-1. The German, he's currently fourth on tour in sand saves, 23rd in approach, 32nd tee to green, 65th par 5, 67th off the tee, 76 average driving distance, and 100th in putting as well. T27 BMW International Open, T3rd at the Italian Open, T18th European Open. He also placed third at the Cascada Golf Challenge and T23rd at the Challenge de Espana on the Challenge Tour as well. So he's playing golf on multiple tours, but he's having success on both tours. A T3 not too long ago at the Cascada Golf Challenge. Again, not to the same level of the DP World Tour, but it's a professional golf tournament nonetheless. He's playing meaningful golf each and every week, grinding it out. And 100-1, man, he does some things extremely well. He's top 25 in approach. He's very good around the green and out of the sand. 32nd tee to green. Those are some big boy numbers for a guy in this field, 100-1, with some decent form as well. T3rd, the Town Open not too long ago as well. So yeah, DeBron's my long shot for the week.
Yeah, what I like, I mean, like and not like at the same time, is that he teed it up last week for the first time in over a month. So he does have a competitive round under his belt, probably more recently than anyone in this field. He did miss the cut in that Challenge Tour event, so that I don't like, but maybe he's just shaking out some of the rust on that Challenge Tour event and coming in this week to, sharpen things up and could get a win at 100-1. He's proven that he can have some spike performances, so I do like the call out there.
Let's hope it's my second 100-1 of the DP World Tour season
That would pay some dividends, wouldn't it?
for sure. Who's the final guy here for you, Jake?
Yeah, I'm taking a long shot here. I mean, Matt's Ige at 250 to 1. He's 25 years old, playing on a bunch of different tours. I believe he played some college golf and then he went to the DP World Tour, played some Challenge Tour events, teed it up at the Barracuda where he ended up withdrawing. So not sure what was going on there. But honestly, his long term, his amateur career is what's gotten me to bet him at 250 to 1. He won four tournaments in his amateur career, which was within his last 25 starts. So all that impressive. He had a T20 on the Challenge Tour at the Blot Open de Bretagne. So that was a butchered of sentences. But at the Barracuda, he gained with the putter and gained on approach and was long off the tee. So kind of checked some boxes for me to just blindly bet him at 250 to 1. So big number, taking my chance here. And a lot of guys haven't played golf recently, so why not him?
Yeah, that's right. You talk about it. This is kind of an open field because guys have been kind of idle. We've seen some guys play some challenge tour. Even if they did play, co-sanctioned events, we're 2 weeks removed from that, 3 weeks removed from that. So yeah, the Olympics, if a few guys were trickled in there, but it's not like the majority of the field hasn't played a competitive round of golf in 3 weeks. So
Right.
knocking the rust off, getting back to the swing of things. Maybe they went on vacation for a bit, kind of a break here for a lot of these guys. And a lot of guys went to the States for some of those tournaments. Maybe they stayed a week extra to, things like that. So we'll see what comes of it. But yeah, a guy like that, got to take your chances on, swing for the fences, and very well could do so. Especially if anyone can do this, the DP World Tour can really offer you up some pretty
Yep.
juicy numbers like that down the stretch. But yeah, that's it for the D&D Real Check Masters as well this week, Jake. So yeah, moving forward, we have of course the BMW. What is it? Invitational? Am I right? Why am I blanking?
Championship Invitational is one of those.
So it's an event that BMW sponsors. I can confirm that next week in Colorado. New look event there.
Championship.
AW Championship. New
Yep.
course as well for this event next week. What is the name of the course? Do you have that in front of you there, Jake?
It is
I know it's in
Olympia
Colorado.
Fields.
Olympia Fields. Is that new? Am I tripping?
No, I don't think so. They played there last. Oh wait, that was last year's event
Yeah, I
at
was gonna
Olympia
say I don't
Fields.
think. I think it's a new course
Hang
this
on,
year.
I'm pulling it up.
But yeah, the DP World Tour moves over to Maiden, Denmark to finish off the closing swing at the Lubker Golf Course. PGA Tour Championship. Our top researcher Jake's on it right now, so we'll see what he comes up with.
Yep, Castle Pines Golf Club.
That's right. I knew it was a new course because Olympia just sounded way too familiar for me.
Yep.
But yeah, Castle Mines out in Colorado for me to that, and of course, there's a very strong chance I will not be in attendance next week for the podcasts, and Jake himself or a different entity will be here joining him, more likely than not, depending if things change in my schedule. But yeah, I'll still have, I can't even guarantee I'll have articles out next week with how busy I'll be, but I'll at least have a card. And again, if I do have cards, anything beyond, well, of course, there's an LPGA major next week as well, which is a bummer. I'm going to miss pretty much 3 articles if things don't go or do go the way they're supposed to. But I'll be posting those on my Twitter at WKF Nate. That's my PGA Tour, DP World Tour, and LPGA major cards. But yeah, that's it, guys. Be sure to keep following us on Twitter at WKF Nate and at We Know Fantasy. Visit WeKnowFantasy.com for some more fantasy sports content. Jake, you'll find you on social media.
Yep, you can find me at DJ Freeman on Twitter. I'll be posting my article there. You could also find the link to the Discord completely free to join. A lot of good information and resources in there. So be sure to join that completely free. No side stuff, no BS. Just join it completely free. Great community we have built up there. 200 plus members.
I think it's a great point, Jake. There is no hidden fees or channels in there that you got to subscribe to. It's 100% free. We're not in the business of getting rich off this. And we're literally just two guys who talk about golf, for an hour a week outside of articles. But yeah, it's absolutely insane that you guys still tune into these things. But we do appreciate it. But yeah, we'll see what next week brings of us. And again, join the Discord, follow us on social media, and visit our website. That's all we have for it. So see you guys till next time.